Well, here we are at, I'm actually on Lendal Bridge. It was opened in 1860s. In fact, in January, I'll be talking about that very soon on this day in York. So I'm actually standing on this bridge, and you can see, looking upriver, and you can see the River Ouse is very much in flood, way over the, even up onto the top walkway there, and in the distance there, you can just see. There we go. See if we can close in a little bit. There we go. That's the Scarborough Railway Bridge, again originally built in the 1860s. Not looking quite as it does today. It was a different bridge that they originally built, and strangely enough, the pedestrian walkway was actually in the middle of the tracks. I think that must have been very dangerous, but of course back in the 1800s they didn't worry about those sort of things quite so much. But I mean, even steam trains would have got up at a great speed. We know that that they broke records. So but I guess going from the actual York railway station, it would have been going reasonably slow, so hopefully there was no accidents, having the pedestrian walkway, as I say, in the middle of the tracks there on Scarborough Bridge. And you can see that the river is flowing quite fast with it being in flood. And if we just look to this side, that's actually the museum gardens, you can see, and you can see that the river has gone into the lower part of the museum gardens there, and this walkway, which of course you cannot use at the moment, totally flooded, that's actually called Judy Dench Walk. So I'm afraid that's flooded at the moment. And the tower that we're just seeing, let me not going in, let's pan back out again. There you are, you can see there, that's known as Lendal Tower. It used to actually have a tank. Hi Sarah, thank you for joining us today here live. I've actually managed to get it to work. I hope you've managed to see the earlier session that I had to pre-record, because I could just not get this to go into landscape mode, and I'm still not. I'm having to do it in portrait. So, but at least I'm standing still, so it's a little bit easier rather than trying to walk around. So this is Lendal Tower. As I say, they used to have a tank up above, so making it a little bit taller, and they would pump the water from the river here up into that tank, so that it would supply the water to the city of York. And they paid peppercorn rent apparently, so very very minimal rent. But that tower's now long since gone. So that's looking at it downriver, very much in flood. Let me see if I can cross over the road. Here we can see Lendal Bridge. Say I'm crossing over this. And of course, just as I want to cross over, there's going to be cars coming. So just bear with me as I try to cross over. It is a little bit quieter at the moment, I'm glad to say. Here we go. We get over now. So let's have a look downriver. And you can see there with the Lendal Bridge some of the gorgeous work on this. And again, this is not the original bridge that we were supposed to have. I will be able to tell you properly about it, say, later this week. Just trying to see where there should be a plaque. Oh, it's down here. I can see it now. Hopefully this. So there we go. Lendal Bridge opened January the 8th, so in fact it'll be next week. I'll be talking about it on when I'm doing an On This Day session. And hi Louise, thank you for joining us here. So I'll go into more information about the actual Lendal Bridge being opened, as you can see there, on January the 8th, 1863. So we're looking almost at the anniversary of it. And I say, this was not the bridge that we were supposed to have. Unfortunately, the original one did collapse. So we ended up with this version instead. And if I just walk a little bit further along. Hi Louise. Hi there. And we can now look downriver. And as I say, very much in flood. You can see there the flood defence system being used, trying to keep the water away from the road there. Hi Catherine, thank you for joining us. It's certainly needed, because this is the first time that I've actually noticed it, the river up at this level. It has been up at this level earlier, well, last year, but I wasn't in York to actually see it. The few times that I've been in York, it had started to go back down, but we've had a lot more rain, etc. So yes, the river's come up again, and we can now see, looking downriver, there is the Ouse Bridge. There you go. Oh, get into focus. There we go. So that's Ouse Bridge, and you can just see that there is a tower. Can I point that? That there. That's the Magistrates' Court. And if we just look, of course, you can see all the cruise boats unable to travel at the moment, with the river being so high. There's no way that they would get underneath Lendal Bridge here, or Ouse Bridge or anything. So they are just waiting for the river to go down so that they'll be able to take people back on those wonderful trips. And I think you need it to be a little bit warmer as well, preferably. Now, just behind those cruise boats, you can see the rear of the Guildhall, and it's in the late 1800s. They were doing some work down there, and they're finding all the Roman material, etc. And they also found some large stones, which they decided was probably the base of a bridge that would have crossed over at this point back in the Roman times. So when we had the opportunity to excavate over on this side, where you can see now the insurance company building, back in the mid to late 1980s, we actually excavated under there. That was one of the last sites that I worked on in York, and we were hoping to find the other side of the bridge that they thought that they'd found at the Guildhall. Unfortunately, we didn't actually find the bridge. We did find the road leading up to it, though. So it's possible. It was always thought that the Ouse would have been narrower back in the Roman times, but it looks as though the Ouse has basically kept its same width throughout those 2,000 years. It used to be tidal. So in the Roman times, before they built a bridge, they would have had to have relied on the tide going down. So, twice a day they'd be able to cross over from one side or the other. I'm sure that they would have also had some kind of ferry system, as we've had in the later centuries. But it is believed that there would have been a bridge here in the Roman times as well. And I say it's thought that certainly in the underneath the Guildhall, evidence of that has been found. And I say, unfortunately, we didn't find it over on the other side, but we did find the road. And we're still waiting for more excavation work to be done underneath this side in Rougier Street. There is plans to be more work in the Rougier Street area. So that they'll be able to do some excavations behind this building. But of course the pandemic slowed everything down, and I think there's still, as I understand, all the planning permission is in place, but it just hasn't got started yet. So we're still waiting for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get down there and actually be able to record something from there. So just a quick little tour well, not really a tour here. I just thought, as I'm walking back to catch the bus, I'd just show you a little bit of the River Ouse here, as I say, in flood at the moment, and it's not as high as it has been in the past. Sorry, loads of vehicles now deciding to come past me. It's not been quite as high as it was before, but certainly back in the 1980s, we've had some very high records. And in fact, flooding, particularly over the winter months, did cause problems with building this bridge that I'm actually standing on, Lendal Bridge. Let me just swing it around a little bit so you can see part of Lendal Bridge there. And that's possibly one of the reasons why we actually had to have a second bridge being built, because the first original one did collapse. It was almost completed and it collapsed. And they actually, when they started building this bridge, which we now have, they actually found running sand in this area. And in, I can just see, let me just spin around. Can you see that there is actually a train crossing over Scarborough Bridge at the moment? There you go. A modern one, not the good old-fashioned steam trains. I do love the steam trains. Yeah, they found running sand under here. Are the gardens flooded too? Yes, they are, Mark. If you rewind this this video, you'll see I was over on the other side of the bridge and I showed the gardens. The lower part of the gardens are actually in flood as well. So good morning there, Mark. I see Emma's joined us as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. So this is just really a quick little session as I'm heading back to catch the bus. I often catch the bus at Rougier Street, so I'm often walking over this Lendal Bridge. I just want to show you as well, which is the best way? Probably this way. If I show you this one, can you see there, that little tower on this side of the bridge? That's one of the old toll booths. So of course when the bridge was opened up in 1863, you had to pay a toll to cross over. And this bridge actually replaced the old Lendal ferry that used to cross over in for many centuries. We had the Lendal ferry. If I turn this way, there you can see the other toll booth there. So yeah, there was one over on either side, and yes, you had to pay to cross over the bridge, whether you were walking over or you got a cart, and certainly if you were having a cart and you got various goods to come across, such as, you know, maybe you were from one of the local villages and you were bringing your barley or possibly some of your animals to sell in the marketplace, you'd certainly have had to have paid to cross over. What else can I show you before I go and get my bus? I've just shown you over there let me just try and hone in again. Can you? Oh, that's it. It's coming now. Can you just see? Where's my finger? Can you see that building there? So that's the Magistrates' Court, and in fact, that's where we do have the other courts in that area as well. Of course, that's close to the castle, where we have the Crown Court as well. And looking again at Ouse Bridge itself there, downriver, again you can see just how flooded this River Ouse is at the moment. Certainly won't be able to get to these cruise boats that are lined up here underneath. And Ouse Bridge really was the only bridge that we had to cross over. That's why we had all the ferries instead. And so if you can imagine that, let me just try not to knock into anybody. If you look down there, where you can see that memorial, that is actually where, just behind there, is where the railway station used to be. So you can imagine that if you'd got your train back in the early 1830s, sorry, let me just pan back out again so you can see better. There, and we can even see it there. So yeah, if you'd have come through to York on the train and you got off at the station, which I say is just behind the memorial there, you would have had to have walked all the way down through that part of York, all the way down to Ouse Bridge down there, cross over, and then come all the way back up this side. Now that was fine if you were energetic and you wanted to do that. You can't see it at the moment. This is probably one of the only points where you can't see the Minster. You can usually see it from just about everywhere in York, but that toll booth is just hiding it, unfortunately. So say if you wanted to go and see the Minster back in the 1800s, or even earlier than that, you would have had to have gone all the way down to Ouse Bridge crossover and then walk back again, unless you were happy to pay the penny or whatever to cross over on the ferry. So you can understand that when the railway was actually moved outside of the city walls, because with it being behind the memorial there, sorry, there's a few people all coming across now, so you can't quite see where I'm talking about, but behind that memorial, it's just coming into view, we're actually inside the city walls. So of course they decided to move the station outside, which is of course where it is today, and it's at that point where they decided to really have this bridge being built The bridge was built before the actual station moved, but that was the reason. So many people now coming to York, wanting to visit from all over, so much easier, and so you know, they didn't want to walk all the way down to Ouse Bridge. No, they all pay that penny. Mind you, they still would have had to have paid a penny, as I say, to cross over the bridge here when it first opened up in 1863. And you can see that there are some lamps there. These, of course, would have been gas originally, in fact, I'll pan across to the other one. That might be easier because there's one on the opposite side as well. And can you see? Is that coming in? Woo. Might hopefully just see that there is an angel there holding what looks like St George's coats of arms there, and you can see there the old lamps there, and say originally they would have been gas lamps. And we also used to have a tram system that would have crossed over here. Of course, those lines have now gone, long gone. We don't have the trams, although sometimes, and I haven't seen it, I saw it earlier today, but I haven't seen it just as we're talking here. There is a little train that if you're wanting to go to the Railway Museum, it will pick you up from around about the Minster area and take you down to the Railway Museum, and that travels across this bridge. But as I say, I haven't seen it in the last few minutes whilst we've been doing this, so sorry. I'll try and get a photograph of it at some time so I can show you that. So I think it's time for me to go and get my bus. So thank you so much for joining me as we look at the flooded River Ouse. So yeah, I'm going to go and get my bus. Say thank you so much for joining me, and I will be back soon with more on this day events, and hopefully do little sessions like this from time to time. So just look out, as you have done today, notice that I'm live and see where I'm filming from. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Take care now. Bye.